excited to bring you Practice Web version 21.3, which you get with your paid support. We've added many new features to boost your office's productivity and revenue. Our mission is to help your office thrive. So let's learn more about some of these exciting new features. Everyone knows that texting is the way patients want to communicate. pwConnect will now send a save the date text before your patient leaves the office when they've scheduled a future appointment. You can easily set up this feature by opening the pwConnect app and under Delivery Schedule, click on Enable Save the Date. If a patient requires pre-medication, when you have the pre-med checkbox selected under the patient's medical urgent notes, pwConnect will send a specific message to patients with a pre-med reminder. pwReviews will automatically send review texts to patients after their visit. With pwReviews, you can automatically send text messages to patients with a link for them to leave a review for your office. If they leave a good review, it'll automatically post to your website. Your office has full control of which patients receive a review or not. You simply go to the Reports menu in Practice Web and click on the Patient Review Select in the Daily section. Now you can deselect any patients that shouldn't get a review and click Save. With all the positive reviews your office will get, you can boost your online visibility and get more new patients. And if you're using the web forms for online patient registration, web forms will now automatically assign your clinics if you're using the clinics feature. And to help the patient fill out the forms faster, when the patient clicks Previous or Next to change forms, it will now start at the top of the new page. The current version of Practice Web has the current CDT 2022 codes. To make sure you have this code set, go to the list, then Procedure Codes. Then click on Procedure Tools. Rather than having to use the mouse to navigate through the software, keyboard shortcuts have been added for efficiency. For an example, type Ctrl-P to bring up the Select Patient menu. For a complete list of keyboard shortcuts, be sure to check out our online user's guide. You now have more security in the Appointments module for computers that may be visible to patients. You can set up the waiting room feature to only show the patient's first name. To set this up, go to the Appointment View Setup and then select First in the Waiting Room Name Format option. You can now easily make sure production and appointments are appropriately allocated when you move an appointment to a Hygiene Operatory. And there is now an option to update appointment type color on existing future appointments. In the Family module, when you have a patient that was a cash patient or is no longer insured, if you add a discount plan to the patient, the treatment plan will automatically update with the new discounted fees. If you're using the Insurance Verify list from your Appointments list menu, there is now an option to verify benefits separately from eligibility. You can find this setting under Appointments in the Setup menu, then click on Insurance Verification. Practice Web will now copy the email and phone fields from the selected patient when you're adding a new family member. This is beneficial in pedo offices. If it is necessary to have different information in this section, simply uncheck the Same for Entire Family box and you can enter individual information in here instead. You'll have more accurate account balances with the changes made in the Account module. You can now allocate unearned income with positive adjustments. You can now enter a prepayment under the account even if they have a balance owing. When you're ready to apply the credit to any patient in the account, you can click on the drop-down next to the Payment button and click on Allocate Unearned. Now you can apply the unearned income to any procedures. If you're using dynamic payment plans in your office, the Auto Split system explicitly applies splits as interest or principal if they're attached to a dynamic payment plan. The treatment plan procedures will also display on printed dynamic payment plans. There is now a report called the Dynamic Payment Plans Overcharged Report. This will help you quickly fix production overcharged on dynamic payment plans. And if you do overcharge a dynamic payment plan, there is now an option to apply the overpayment to the principal balance or as a prepayment on their next visit. You can also now easily refund patient payments. Also, in the Edit Payment window, the Edit Payment Split window will default to the current patient. In the Edit Procedure screen, we've added provider and clinic columns to the Adjustment Picker window. And the Statement button in the Account module will now set the start date from billing defaults when you print a statement. You can find these defaults under Billing in the Manage module. If you need to print a more comprehensive account history, you can click on the More options to change the date range if needed. In the Treatment Plan module, a warning will pop up if invalid codes are entered in insurance frequency. You can set this up under Module Preferences. Procedures with sales tax will now display in the treatment plan. You can set up sales tax on procedures by going to the Edit Procedure Code screen from List and make sure that the procedures you want to apply the tax to have a check mark in the Auto Tax box. Then under Module Preferences in the Account tab, make sure you use Automate Sales Tax. In the Chart module, we've added a paint type for new implant abutments is now set as None instead of Implant. The Chart View Date filters now include buttons to quickly insert the date. PracticeWeb will warn or block users from completing a procedure in a hidden category. There are also new auto codes for dentures and procedure buttons for dentures under the single-click list. You can also now print the ortho chart for a specific date range, and there's now a lock on the ortho chart to prevent concurrency issues. The Imaging module has had major advancements. You can now open multiple images in the Imaging module at once. Just click on the Windows option in the right side of your currently selected image. You can choose to have the image sit in any quadrant of your monitor. Now you can simply click on the next image to view and compare. You can also add text to images. Just click on the Draw button and then click on Text. And you can choose the color of the text based on your diagnostic explanations. Now you can click anywhere on the image and type in your text. You can choose transparent background if you don't want to cover up your image. Browse buttons have been added for the default to import folder. This will help you save time from searching if all your scanned items and photos are stored in the same place. You can find this setting under the Images tab in Module Preferences. If you use ScanX phosphor plates, there has now been a Twain driver option added so you can do direct capture into PracticeWeb. In the Manage module, there is now an option to generate pay periods on a semi-monthly basis. You can use this feature by going to the Setup menu, then under Manage, click Time Cards. For insurance billing, the billing and pay-to phone numbers are now added so they can be sent on claims. If you have multiple locations, You can now allow statements to be created by clinic. If your practice accepts ERA for your insurance payments, you can now have automated ERA processing, and you can automatically import ERA CARC codes, and ERA data is refreshed when the date range is changed. And there's also a report to track automatically processed ERAs. You can find out more about ERA processing in our user's guide. A few other items that have been added to help your practice. Sheets now allows for static images per clinic. This is helpful if you have different business logos for your different locations. You can also now associate referral sources to clinics. PracticeWeb will also warn if your office hides a clinic with patients attached. The active patients report now includes a patient status filter. Procedures with quad or arch treatment area can also have a tooth range. Security permissions have been added for restricting access to adding or editing existing medications, setting up high security program links, adding or editing allergies or problems. There's also now restricted access to the Edit Patient Information window, and there's a control for auto-saving on forms for the imaging module. Are you ready to upgrade? It's easy. First, back up your data and make sure that all of your workstations are closed out of PracticeWeb. Then click on Help and then Update. Use the update code shown and then click on Check for updates. We've emailed the password to all offices on active and paid support, but you can also contact technical support for the password. When you're ready to upgrade, have your instructions and password ready. You can now get the instructions from our website. Please see the link in the video description below. If you need help upgrading to PracticeWeb version 21.3 so you can use these amazing new features, please contact support at 800-845-9379 option 2 or email us support@practice-web.com. If you want to renew your support to get these awesome upgrades, please contact sales at 800-845-9379 option 1 or send an email to sales@practice-web.com. We look forward to the opportunity to help your office thrive.